This brother here, myself, all of us were born with our hair like this, and we just wear it like this.
Only one choice now. Just to resting. I wanna be the one. No more wasting, no more wasting. Just to resting.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. My name is Trinity Resting, and yes, Resting is my real surname. So I already know what you guys are thinking. Girl, where have you been? I know. I think the last time I posted a YouTube video was 2 months ago, and I'm sorry guys, I'm sorry, but ain't nobody told me university was gonna be like this. But for real though, yeah, I took a long break off of YouTube. I didn't really say anything or why, but like it started off as just being unmotivated, honestly, and then like school got kind of hectic as the semester went on. I'm just gonna admit I have terrible time management. I'm working on it, but I'm back and the hair is out, you guys can see, and I'm here with the video y'all have been waiting for, the video I have been promising and just not giving y'all. I don't know why, I'm so sorry, but yeah, I'm here with the video you guys have all been waiting for. This is actually 1 year post big chop. Wait, the date today is the 29th of March, so I'm actually a bit late because last year I cut my hair on the 4th of March, so that was just about a year ago. So yeah, I'm a little bit late filming this video, but it's around the same time. So yeah, this is my 1 year post big chop update. As you can see, I decided to bring my hair out. You know, I put the wigs away for this video just because I feel like if you're watching a video about natural hair and hair growth, you know, I should have my natural hair out. Anyway, okay, so I have a whole bunch of notes on my phone. These are like just in general tips and things I've been doing to help my hair get to where it is right now. So yeah, I'm gonna be going through all of these and hopefully they'll be helpful for you guys. I know you guys have been waiting for this video, and yesterday I posted on my Instagram a picture of my hair like this and y'all were like, sis, where is the video? So yeah, let's just get started. I have a lot to cover like I showed you guys, and I don't want this video to be uncomfortably, is that a word? I don't want this video to be too long. Okay, so yeah, the first thing I'm gonna mention is genetics. Genetics play a huge part in hair growth in general. If genetically you just don't grow as many inches per month as someone else, it might just be in your genetics. There's not much you can change about it, but you can do things that will maximize your growth potential according to your genetic makeup. So I'm going to be talking about things that you can do to maximize that. So the first thing that I have here, now we're starting on the tips. So the first tip that I have here is know your hair. So a lot of the time, you guys will watch people like me or other natural hair people and you see what they do and you try to replicate the exact same thing on your hair, and then you're like, oh, this doesn't work, or my hair is not growing, or my hair is breaking, and like she promised me my hair would grow and now my hair is breaking. This is why it's important to know your hair. You need to know what your hair likes and doesn't like. The one thing I would say to stop obsessing over is your hair type. It really doesn't matter whether you're 4A, 4B, 4C. It really does not matter. So stop focusing on your hair type. What you need to be focusing on is hair porosity. I don't know if I've ever explained hair porosity to you guys before, but I'm just gonna give a brief explanation and I'll maybe put something here from Google. I don't know why I do this to myself. I'm gonna have to edit this, but I'm gonna put a little thing here from Google on what hair porosity is. So basically, hair porosity is how well your hair can absorb moisture and keep moisture in. So for me, for example, I am low porosity, so it takes me a really long time to get moisture into my hair, but once the moisture is into my hair, it stays there for a pretty long time. Whereas if you are high porosity, water tends to easily get in, or moisture tends to easily get in and just as easily get out. So it's really hard to keep moisture in with high porosity. But yeah, there are tests that you can do to know whether or not you are high or low or normal porosity, and I'll put another clip over here of how you can test whether you're high or low or normal porosity. But yeah, that is one of the most important tips, because once you know that, you basically know your hair and you'll know what products your hair wants, needs, likes, all of that. So for example, for me, I'm low porosity. My hair really loves heavy products like butters, like shea butters and things like that, because it helps to keep the moisture in, whereas for someone who's high porosity, they might like other things. So yeah, stop focusing on hair type. It doesn't matter, and you're probably doing yourself a disservice by focusing on your hair type, because like I said, it doesn't matter. Okay, next tip is focus on health over length. Guys, how are you gonna get long hair if your hair is not healthy? No, tell me, I'm waiting, I'm waiting. How are you going to grow long hair if your hair is not healthy? You need to be focusing on your hair health over your hair length. If you have the basis of hair health, your hair is just always gonna grow, because keep in mind, your hair is always growing. It doesn't matter like what time of the year or what product you're using. I mean, unless you've got a condition, your hair should always just be growing from your scalp naturally. So what I mean by focus on health over length is, I mean focus on obviously the health of your hair, your ends, which brings me into the next tip, which is length retention is something that many natural people struggle with. This is the one thing that makes it seem like your hair just is not progressing at all. You know, when you keep checking like on the length of your hair and you're like, damn, my hair's been at the same length for like a year now and it's just not growing. That's because you might be having a problem with length retention, because like I said before, your hair is always growing. The problem is keeping that length on your ends, because what happens is your ends get really brittle and they start breaking off at the same rate that your hair is growing from your scalp. So it's just staying at the same length and it looks like your hair isn't growing when it is. The problem is you're not able to keep that length there. So the one thing that I've been using regularly, probably 90% of the time, is protective styling. So this is the one thing that has been really helping me to retain my length. So you guys know that I wear a lot of wigs, I wear clip-in extensions a lot, sometimes I do braids. So usually what I'll do is I'll do little cornrows or little just twists underneath my wigs, but I make sure that my hair is really moisturized and really just succulent and healthy, and then I braid it up, put a wig on top, and call it a day. I'll literally have my hair away for maybe 2 weeks or 1 week, and then I deep condition and then just put it back into braids, because that way you're not manipulating your hair as much. By having your hair away or in braids or in cornrows or in anything like that, you're not able to be manipulating your hair, so you're not constantly having to brush it or style it or slick it back or pull it back or do all these things to it that it does not enjoy doing. Your hair just wants to live, it just wants to be free. Now you pulling it, you yanking it in every single direction. This is why your hair is unhappy. So sometimes it is important to take a break from styling your hair and just give it a break, let it really just rest and mend itself and all of that. So tip number 5 is deep conditioning regularly. Now honestly, I would say deep condition every week, but then again, this also goes back to the point of knowing your hair. So if you know that your hair really doesn't need to be deep conditioned every week or every so often, then you don't need to. You just really have to listen to your hair. For me personally, my hair really enjoys being deep conditioned every week, but I don't enjoy deep conditioning every week, so we fight often. So I kind of compromise, and I sometimes literally leave my hair for maybe 2 weeks until I decide to wash it and deep condition it. Mainly because I'm lazy. I'm a lazy natural, so yeah, I leave my hair for long amounts of time. Sometimes I forget about it, and obviously that's terrible. Don't do that. So yes, deep condition as often as you need to, or as often as your hair needs, but I personally would recommend once a week. Generally that's what most naturals do. Well, not most, but most of the ones that I watch, most of them deep condition every week. So yeah, that's what I would suggest. My tip number 6 is to detangle your hair with your fingers and ditch the combs. So I recently started finger detangling instead of using a comb to detangle when I wash my hair, and I've seen a large improvement in the ends of my hair, because I noticed that I get a lot of fairy knots or single strand knots. If you don't know what that is, I'll put another picture here. So that's just when one strand knots up. So I was getting a lot of those very often, and it is common when you have really tight, kinky, coiled hair, because our coils and our curls are so tight, they often wrap around one another, and that causes a knot. So many naturals struggle with this, especially if you're about type 3B to type 4C hair texture. We often struggle with single strand knots a lot. So I decided that I would try finger detangling, and I found that this helps me so much more, and it has really decreased the amount of single strand knots that I've been getting. And I think this is because when you use your fingers, you're a lot more gentle, because you can really feel your hair, whereas when you use a comb, you can't really feel what's going on. But when you have your fingers, you can kind of feel where the knots are at, and you can like slowly pull the knots apart. So it definitely has my hair feeling better, because it's just not being pulled as harsh when I use my fingers. So I would recommend trying that if single strand knots are something that you struggle with. It's also seemed to help me reduce my amount of shedding in the shower, again for the same reason, because with my fingers I'm more gentle, whereas with the comb I just be raking it through. My next tip is have a good moisture to protein balance. So when you deep condition, sometimes it's good to use a protein deep conditioner. Most of the time I use homemade ones. A good example is rice water. Rice water is filled with protein. It's just literally a dish of protein for your hair. So if your hair feels really stretchy, almost mushy, it just feels like when you pull the strand apart, it just keeps stretching and stretching and stretching. It could mean that you have a bit of a moisture overload and your hair needs a bit of protein. So I would either usually use, like I said, rice water is a really good protein treatment, or you can make a homemade protein treatment with avocado and eggs or mayonnaise. That's usually also really good. I just don't like using eggs because they tend to get stuck in my hair, and I ain't about that. But yeah, have a good moisture to protein balance. Now I know rice water has been trending a lot lately on TikTok, on YouTube as well. It was like a big trend at some point on YouTube too, because you know the Ya woman in China used to use rice water on their hair to get long luscious hair. So everyone's been using rice water like, oh, I'm gonna use rice water every day. But guys, rice water is filled with protein, and protein overload is a big problem for naturals. Protein overload is when you just pump your hair with protein and it just has too much protein and not enough moisture, and your strands end up snapping. So you think you're doing a good thing by giving your hair more protein, but you're actually doing the opposite, and now your hair is brittle, it's breaking, and you're not retaining length. So you're doing more harm than good. So I would say alternating, maybe every 2 weeks or every week or so. So 1 week you do a protein treatment, the next week you do a moisture treatment. That's usually what I do, but sometimes my hair is quite sensitive to protein, so I often do protein maybe once a month or twice a month at max. Next tip is have a good moisture routine down. If you're a natural, you already know this. Moisture is the most important thing in keeping your hair healthy, and the only true moisturizer is water, okay? Oil is not. a moisturizer. Now I'm quite passionate about this topic, okay, because I sometimes get DMs where girls will tell me that they've been trying to grow their natural hair out and their hair just feels so dry and they don't know what they're doing wrong because they just feel like they're doing everything right, and they're telling me, oh, I use coconut oil every day, or I use olive oil and argan oil every day, and sometimes I use castor oil every day. Your hair is crying. Your hair, you know the Sahara Desert, the Sahara Desert, that's your hair. So you should be using products that are water based. If you look at the ingredients list on any of your products, the first ingredient should always be water, or usually it's aqua on the bottle. If water is not the first or second or third ingredient in the list of ingredients, it's probably not the best moisturizer. I've mentioned this before, I think in my how I moisturize my hair video, I can't remember, but I've mentioned the lock method or the LCO method. You guys should choose which one is best for you. Like I said, lock method is liquid, oil, cream, and then the LCO method, which I use, that is a liquid, cream, oil. I think I've explained that in my past video. I'll link it right up here. I hope it's this side. I'll link it here or here, I can't remember. But yeah, have a good moisture routine down. That would be really, really helpful for you. Next thing I have here is keep your hair in a stretched state to avoid tangling. Like I said before, I usually have my hair in twists underneath my wigs. So by them being in twists, they don't have an opportunity to get tangled. My strands are, you know, away in a twist, so my hair doesn't really get tangled. So that would be a good way to keep your hair stretched as well. Or like in my last video, I did a twist out. That is also one way to keep your hair stretched. When you braid it out, you kind of stretch out the curls a little bit, and then they don't have as much opportunity to coil around each other and get knotted and tangled, and it makes it way easier to manage when your hair is stretched. So I would suggest keeping your hair stretched. It's going to help you so much with breakage and split ends and single strand knots and everything. Next thing I have is trim your dead ends. Trim your dead ends. You guys, this goes back to my point of health over length. So many naturals are scared of cutting their hair because, you know, it's our crown and you're afraid that if you cut it, it's not gonna grow back or whatever, but you are actually making everything way worse by not trimming your hair. I often trim my hair or my ends after I've finished washing it, and I feel, if I can feel there's like a few knots on the ends, I literally just take my hair scissors and I cut it off right there and then. I don't wait for specific dates, like, oh, I'm gonna cut my hair every once a month, I'm gonna trim it every once a month, because I honestly don't feel that that is necessary. I think you should just be trimming your hair when it's necessary. I actually find it quite therapeutic. I'll sit in my bed while watching series and I'll just go through my hair, going through each strand with scissors and just like looking at the ends. If there's knots, I'll cut it off. I'll just cut it, and that's usually what I do. I don't really have to do anything too serious or too hectic to cut my hair. So yes, if you don't cut your hair, your ends are going to get worse and it's going to end up breaking off a lot higher. So instead of it breaking down here, it's going to break off up here and you lose a lot more length than you would if you just cut it off. Another tip that I think really helped me, especially in the beginning of my natural hair journey, this is something I would do almost religiously. Like, I was doing this probably every day, if not every 2 days. Massaging your scalp with a stimulating oil. I was using Jamaican black castor oil. I've mentioned this in many videos before. I use Jamaican black castor oil all the time. I feel like it's my holy grail. My scalp loves it, and I feel like this is the one main thing that has really been able to maximize my growth potential, because, you know, this stimulates the blood flow to your hair follicles, and that way, you know, your hair, y'all know the science. I don't know the science. I ain't no scientist. All right, I know it works. work, okay? So if you're gonna do it, do it. I know a lot of naturals have also used wild growth hair serum or some hair oil. I can't remember what it's called, but a lot of naturals use that as well. You could use lavender oil, peppermint oil is a good one as well. But yeah, I use Jamaican black castor oil. I feel like it's really great, and it's quite heavy, so I don't really have to use it every day. I'll probably use it every 2 or 3 days because it stays on my scalp for quite a while. So yeah, I'll just put a few drops here and there and just really massage it, get it in there. And yeah, my scalp just feels like it's tingling. I feel like I can literally feel the little hairs like growing. The last but not least tip I have here, if you don't know this already, something has to change, baby. Something's gotta change. You should be using a bonnet or a satin pillowcase or a satin scarf, something satin, to protect your hair when you go to sleep. Do not sleep raw on your pillow. It's actually scary to think about. You know, cotton is very rough on your hair. When you sleep and you're tossing and turning, the cotton is rubbing on your strands. It's causing friction, so it's gonna cause breakage. I don't know if you guys have ever done this, but when I was relaxed, I never used to have a bonnet or a silk scarf or anything. I'd just go to bed with my hair raw. So whenever I would do that, I would go to bed and I'd wake up and there'd be little strands of hair all over my pillow when I woke up. Just like sprinkles all over my pillow, like those strands of hair. For me, I thought it was normal. I was just like, oh, this is just how it is. This is just what it should be. But no, my hair is crying, it's struggling, it's breaking throughout the night. We're fighting with my pillow throughout the night. I'm telling you guys, use a satin pillowcase or a bonnet. Oh, I actually saw one comment on my last YouTube video. Someone asked me where I got my bonnet from. I got my bonnet from Clicks in Swaziland. I think it's the brand Evolve, if I'm not mistaken. But honestly, any satin bonnet is gonna work. It doesn't have to be a certain brand. I literally probably just picked the cheapest one that was on the shelf. I suggest you do the same. You really don't need anything expensive. What I do is I also have a satin scarf. You guys probably know my satin scarf. I use it like in every video, and I wrap it around my edges first, you know, tie it up, and then I put my bonnet on, only because my bonnet has like a little elastic thing where it's meant to, you know, stay around your hairline, and that often causes friction and it breaks my edges off. So I protect my edges with the scarf first, and then I put my bonnet on after. So I would suggest that if your bonnet has a little elastic or it gets kind of tight around, you know, where it's supposed to sit around your edges, then I would suggest protecting your edges first with a scarf. But yes, that was the last tip that I have. I hope this video will be helpful for you guys, especially for all of my followers who are natural already or planning to go natural, or you have kids who are natural and you're looking to know how to take care of their hair, or even if you're just interested in natural hair in general. I hope you guys find this video helpful, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. Thank you again for clicking on my video and choosing my channel to watch today. I'm so glad you can make it. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!